The stars stretched endlessly in all directions, an infinite void punctuated by tiny points of light. Commander Evelyn Ward stood at the observation deck of the Odyssey, her gaze fixed on the mysterious, pulsating signal that had drawn humanity's attention for months. It was the first of its kind, an intelligent transmission from a star system far beyond Earth's reach. The excitement of discovery had been tempered by the enormity of what it might mean. First contact. She wondered what lay on the other side of that signal. Were they peaceful? Hostile? Would humanity make a friend or an enemy? Commander, Lieutenant Ramirez's voice crackled over the comms, breaking her reverie. We're approaching the designated coordinates. Understood, she replied, turning away from the viewport. Her heart raced with anticipation. She had trained her entire career for this, and now the moment was here. In the command center, her crew was hard at work, their faces a mix of excitement and nerves. The Odyssey had been chosen for this mission for a reason. Its crew was the best Earth had to offer. Evelyn, as its commander, carried the weight of not only their lives, but the potential future of human-alien relations. Bring up the visual, she ordered. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a massive structure hovering in the distance. It wasn't what she expected. The alien vessel was unlike anything she had ever seen, sleek and organic, with a metallic sheen that seemed to shift colors as it absorbed the light from the nearby stars. It was beautiful in an eerie, otherworldly way. No signs of hostility, reported Ramirez, his fingers dancing across the control panel. They've been monitoring us since we entered their space. Evelyn nodded. Open a communication channel. A tense silence fell over the bridge as they waited for a response. Seconds felt like hours. Then a voice, smooth, melodic, yet distinctly alien, filled the room. This is Jari of the Regellan Council. We welcome you, travelers from Earth. A wave of relief washed over the crew. Evelyn exhaled, realizing she had been holding her breath. This is Commander Evelyn Ward of the Earth Vessel Odyssey, she responded. We come in peace and seek to understand your people. A pause. Then Jari's voice returned, softer this time, almost curious. We have long observed your species, but never thought it wise to make contact. Your emotional nature is unique among the stars. The comment caught Evelyn off guard. Emotional nature? She wasn't sure how to take that. We believe emotions are a strength, she said cautiously. They drive us to achieve, to innovate, to connect. Indeed, Jari replied, but they also bring chaos, war, destruction. Before Evelyn could respond, Jari extended an invitation. Come aboard our vessel. There is much to discuss. The invitation was unexpected, but it was an opportunity they couldn't afford to pass up. After a brief consultation with her crew, Evelyn agreed. She, along with a small team, boarded a shuttle and made the short trip to the Regellan ship. As they stepped aboard, the alien environment engulfed them in an eerie silence. The walls seemed alive, pulsing faintly, as if the ship itself were a living organism. Jari awaited them, standing tall with an almost regal presence. His skin was a pale shade of silver, and his eyes, large and dark, reflected the distant stars. Commander Ward, he said, his voice warm but measured. Welcome. Evelyn nodded, trying to suppress the awe she felt at standing face-to-face with a being from another world. Thank you for the invitation, Jari. Their conversation began with formalities, exchanges of information about their respective species. But as the hours passed, it became clear that Jari was more interested in something deeper. Your people, Jari said at one point, his gaze intense, they thrive on emotions. Love, fear, ambition. These things are foreign to us. We abandoned such weaknesses long ago. We don't see them as weaknesses, Evelyn countered. They're what make us human. Jari tilted his head, intrigued. Perhaps. But they also make you dangerous. Evelyn felt a pang of defensiveness, but held her composure. And yet, here we are, talking peacefully. Jari smiled, a small, strange expression that seemed unpracticed. For now. The meeting ended on a positive note, with promises of future discussions. But as Evelyn returned to the Odyssey, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Jari had been cordial, even curious, but there was an undercurrent of tension. His people didn't trust humans. Perhaps they never would. And yet, something in his eyes, something unspoken, hinted at a possibility, a connection. She didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning of something far more complex than she had ever imagined. The alien world of Valera was breathtaking. Evelyn Ward stood beneath a canopy of glowing trees, their bioluminescent leaves casting an ethereal light over the landscape. The air was cool, fragrant with unfamiliar scents. Above her, the alien sky shimmered with constellations she didn't recognize. Everything about this place felt otherworldly, beautiful, yet strange.
It was a secret meeting.
Jari had arranged it, risking everything to meet her here away from the prying eyes of both his people and her crew. Evelyn knew the danger, but there was something about him she couldn't resist. Ever since their first meeting aboard his ship, she had felt an inexplicable pull toward him. A curiosity, yes, but more than that. A connection she couldn't quite explain. Jari emerged from the shadows, his tall, silver form almost blending into the glowing flora around them. His dark eyes, reflective as the stars above, met hers. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The tension between them hung thick in the air, unspoken but undeniable. "You came," Jari said quietly, his voice smooth and low. Evelyn nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "I had to." Jari stepped closer, his expression unreadable. "This is dangerous, Commander. For both of us." "I know," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "But I couldn't walk away." He studied her for a long moment, as if searching for something in her face. Then, to her surprise, he reached out, his hand hovering near hers, but not quite touching. "Your people are fascinating," he said softly. "So full of emotions. I've never encountered anything like it. It's both intriguing and terrifying." Evelyn felt a strange warmth spread through her at his words. She knew that for the Rigellans, emotions were considered a weakness, something to be controlled or even suppressed. Jari's curiosity about her humanity, about what made her feel, was what had drawn him to her, just as his calm logic had intrigued her. "We see emotions as a strength," she said, echoing what she'd told him before. "They make us who we are. They drive us to protect the ones we love, to fight for what we believe in." Jari's gaze flickered, a flash of something, hesitation, perhaps. "My people believe emotions lead to chaos," he said, his voice almost regretful. "We value order, stability. For generations, we've learned to suppress what you consider natural. Bonds between individuals, like the ones humans form, are forbidden." "Forbidden?" Evelyn repeated, frowning. "You mean you don't form relationships? Friendships? Love?" Jari shook his head. "Not in the way you understand it. Our connections are logical, built for the good of society. Personal attachments are discouraged, seen as a distraction from our duties." Evelyn struggled to wrap her mind around it. She had never imagined a life without love, without the messy, complicated emotions that made every human relationship so meaningful. "But don't you ever feel lonely?" she asked, her voice softening. Jari hesitated again, the faintest flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. "Loneliness is an unfamiliar concept for us," he said, though the weight in his tone betrayed the truth. "But since meeting you, I've begun to wonder. Perhaps we've lost something important." The admission sent a jolt through Evelyn. She stepped closer, her hand brushing against his. The contact was electric, sending a shiver down her spine. She had never expected to feel this way about an alien, and yet, here she was, drawn to him in a way she couldn't explain or deny. "You don't have to follow the rules of your people," she said gently, searching his eyes. "You can choose your own path." Jari looked down at her hand, now resting lightly on his. For a long moment, he said nothing, as if the weight of her words was too much to bear. "I don't know if I can," he finally whispered. "If they discover what we've been doing, the consequences will be severe. For both of us." I know the risks, Evelyn said, her heart pounding. But I don't care. We can figure this out together. Jari lifted his gaze to hers, the conflict in his eyes clear. He was torn between his duty to his people and the growing bond he felt with her, a bond he had never experienced before, one that defied everything he had been taught. For a brief moment, the world around them faded away. The alien trees, the distant stars, even the looming threat of war. It all vanished as they stood there, bound by something deeper than logic or duty. Jari, she whispered, her voice trembling with the weight of the moment. We don't have to follow the rules of our worlds. We can make our own. He hesitated, but then, slowly, he nodded. Perhaps you're right. As they stood together in the glowing forest, Evelyn knew their relationship would change everything. It was forbidden, dangerous, but it was real. And in that moment, nothing else mattered. They were two beings from different worlds, bound together by something even the vastness of space couldn't explain. But deep down, she knew this was just the beginning. The storm was coming, and they were standing at the eye of it.